show now. You are connected as the host. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
All right, good evening, everybody. It's Mark Wallace here. I am coming to you live at 11:30 p.m. and on this Saturday night to talk about what is going on in Flossmoor, Illinois. 10 by 10 to win is the political arm where we are establishing a independent Black voting bloc. And that is not just for Chicago. It is for Chicago, Cook County, and the state of Illinois. We are broadening our scope. We have to broaden our scope. We have to understand that we are interdependent of each other. And one of the glaring revelations that we have discovered or been apprised of is what's going on in Flossmoor, Illinois. Now, Flossmoor is about 20 minutes south of the city of Chicago. It is an upper middle class community. It is now about 63% Black, 27% white. And so there's been a Black migration in the Flossmoor community for the past 35, 40 years. Yet, the administration has not changed in Flossmoor. It is 100% white in Flossmoor. That means the mayor, the village board manager, the assistant village board manager, the clerk, the corporation, I'm calling it the corporation council, but the council is white. Now, those are the decision makers in Flossmoor. Now, you have a trustees board that is made up of 3 Black trustees and 3 white trustees. And the mayor of Flossmoor, Michelle Nelson, is the tie-breaking vote. Now, what we have been apprised of is that we were contacted by someone who contacted Craig Wimberly, who is a part of 10 by 10 to win. He's also the president and chair of COAL, the Coalition of African American Leaders, but he's a member of 10 by 10 to win. Craig contacted me back in, I believe it was somewhere around March, somewhere in that area. And it may have been sooner, but nevertheless, he contacted me and said that he received a phone call from an officer who said that this was going on, that they had just hired a Black chief of police for the first time in its 100-year history. And they were setting out to fire this same highly decorated chief of police. They had done a nationwide search. The previous chief of police resigned. Amidst there was a police shooting in 2022 of a African-American woman by the name of Madeline Miller, who allegedly, they said that she had a knife and was attacking an officer, and the officer had to defend himself and shot and killed her. Well, that was an incident that started raising some eyebrows of the Black community there. Amidst that, that chief of police eventually retired or resigned from the department. The mayor, the village board manager there is by the name of you got Michelle Nelson, and then Bridget Wachtal is the village board manager. She's been the village board manager there for 20 years. And she basically runs the village of Flossmoor. I think that the residents of Flossmoor, in particular the African American residents of Flossmoor, have realized what's going on out here in Flossmoor, in their community. Now, this easily have gotten by people because, again, Flossmoor is an upper middle class community. People who have moved out there, you know, for the most part, have been excited about that because they think that, you know, they have made it. And some have acknowledged that, you know, when we moved out here, we thought, okay, we have made it. Everything is good. You know, we're living good and all is wonderful. Only to find out that things are wonderful as long as the white people are in charge and everybody else stays in their place. So what you have happening in Flossmoor right now is nothing less than an apartheid type government where you have 63% of the population there is Black, 27% is white, and 100% of the administration is white. And whenever they raise their voices and concerns about things, they make the decision to do whatever it is that they want to do, despite the objection of a number of people from the African American community. So that tells you what their mindset is. And the African American community is starting to wake up to this. So much so that you now have Joni Bradley Scott, who is a current sitting trustee, who, when I first talked to her about a year ago, was reluctant to step out and take an active role to running for mayor. But as time has gone on and we have observed, questioned what the administration was doing as it relates to the former chief, Jarrell Jones, and their reasoning for wanting to terminate him, they were supposed to provide information that would have substantiated what they said their decision to terminate him. And the information that was put forth, the information that was released, none of it was a just cause to terminate the employment of Chief Jarrell Jones. So basically what it came down to is that Chief Jarrell Jones was not being their yes man. And he was the person who was the professional law enforcement background and who was charged with running the department there. We talked to people in the department. There was no problem with the people in the department. We talked to people in the community. The people in the community did not feel as though they were not safe and that he was not doing a good job in running the department. They had a festival, which they call the Flossmoor Fest, and in doing so, and planning of that, at the time, Chief Jarrell Jones had apprised the mayor and the village manager of certain things that he recommended that should be done in order to ensure the safety and security of Flossmoor Fest. Those recommendations were rejected. There was a teen takeover. He had even recommended that maybe we shouldn't do the fest because of these teen takeovers that were happening. There was a teen takeover that happened in another suburb where someone ended up getting killed. Well, they had the teen takeover that took place in Flossmoor at the Flossmoor Fest. No one got killed. No one got hurt. There were no injuries. There were no damages. In fact, there was not even a news story outside of a local journalist that writes about what's going on in Flossmoor, but it had nothing to do with anybody being hurt or anything of that nature. And they tried to make this as their paragon for terminating him. But it really boils down to the fact that he was not being their yes man. And what they put forth in terms of a review, here is a person who's been on a job less than 6 months, and he is getting performance reviews in less than 6 months of being on the job. They were looking for a reason to discharge. And they couldn't find a good reason, so that they made up all of these petty reasons that they put into a performance review. And then they, after the community started questioning this decision, they started to trying to find reasons to do so. They really wanted him to resign. We then got involved, and we actually brought media attention to what was going on in Flossmoor. I'm sure that they did not expect the kinds of attention that ended up bringing and putting light on what was happening in Flossmoor. And even the reporters, they were surprised and trying to understand where the real lightning rod was, and it didn't come forth. The mayor said to the community that when this is finally over and we're able to provide you with the information, you will agree that our decision was the appropriate decision. Well, that time has come and passed, and there was no new information. And it made the people of Flossmoor, in particular the African-American community of Flossmoor, even more frustrated, to the point that one of the people who served on the Flossmoor Advisory Council was so disturbed by what he had observed that he said that he could no longer serve on the mayor's advisory council for Village of Flossmoor, and he now is a candidate for trustee. So the lights have been turned on to what has been going on in Flossmoor. They have done several things. They built a detention basin that has taken all of the green land space that predominantly African-American children attend of a school, and put this basin that is about 20 feet deep, that has a poor draining system, that there's all kinds of problems with this retention basin, that there was no advisory, There was no community meetings about this detention basin. And when the community found out what was going on, they started raising objections to it. But yet the mayor and the village board manager went forth with this decision to put this detention basin. There was a black principal of one of the schools there that was receiving all kinds of racial threats, to the point that she resigned her position and would not renew her contract because of the types of racial insults and attacks that she was experiencing there as a principal, and she was their first black principal. So there is this hierarchy, thematic thrust of an apartheid type activity going on in Flossmoor. Well, the black community has come to a point to where they are very concerned about this. And they are saying, as well they should, is that we have to have a seat at the table. And you're 63% of the population, and you have no voice. Well, it's 63% of the population. If you're 2/3 of the population, you definitely should have a seat at the table. So, Joni Bradley Scott, you can go to her Facebook page, Friends of Joni Bradley Scott, like her page, follow her page. And what we're doing, 10 by 10 to win, is, again, that is our independent black voting bloc that we are building and establishing that covers our regional areas: Chicago, Cook County, the state of Illinois. We've got to do this because of these type of things are happening. And wherever we are, we have to fight with and for equity for our communities. Because these practices, we cannot allow for them to stand. We cannot allow or continue to allow for the inequities that have persisted. I've been in Chicago now 39 years, going on 40 years. We have more people, African-American people, who are elected in other political offices. But what we have to do to strengthen our voice and to make sure that those people deliver what it is that we want across the board where we live, whether it's in the Village of Flossmoor or Robbins or Hazel Crest or Country Club Hills or Mattison or Olympia Fields, Richton Park, Robbins, Harvey, Markham, Riverdale, Burnham, Phoenix, wherever we are. That's why it is imperative of us. Even if you don't live there, we have to be concerned about what is going on in our communities, Chicago as well. We have the numbers to put forth the greatest independent union of black voters right here in the Chicagoland area, where we can actually control government from Chicago all the way to Springfield, where we determine as voters who our candidates are going to be. We select the candidates, we slate them, and we elect them, and they have to respond to our community with equity, from education to economics. And our first efforts are right here in Flossmoor, Illinois. So what I am doing tonight asking for you to go to Joni Bradley Scott, Friends of Joni Bradley Scott's Facebook page, follow her page, join 10 by 10 to win. And you can text 10x10 to the number 855-909-1385 so that you can get the updates. And then you can also get the weekly Zoom link for the weekly meeting that takes place every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And you can get the full rundown and presentation of what it is that we are doing. We're trying to institutionalize our own union independent Black voting bloc so that we can strengthen the voice of the people, that the people in the chambers of our legislatures, whether it be a village, whether it be the city council, whether it be the Cook County Board, or the General Assembly at the state, that our voices are going to be heard and respected. And as a result, they will respond to our demands. That's where the power comes in. There has to be powers in a collective corporate agenda. Individualism is not going to get it. Fractionization is not going to help us. That's what has been hurting us for the past 40 years. We must abandon this ideology of I got mine, you get yours. That is a prescription for disaster, and it is cancerous and toxic to the progress of our people collectively. So we've got to get out of the ego of individualism and, one person wanting to be a star in the ghetto. No, it is about all of us. So I'm asking you to please, I'm going to put it in the chat. If you would text 10x10 to 855-909-1385 and get into the text alert. You can also go, and once you get into the text alert, you can go to 10by10towin.org and register and become a part of the block. There's no fee to register. There's no money to register or anything like that at this point. Right now, what is critically important is that we build the block and we give it the strength that it needs so that wherever we are supporting and fighting for, whether it be in a city or the suburbs, right now, we need to help the Friends of Joni Bradley Scott, this very capable, very intelligent woman of great integrity and vision, for taking Flossmoor to an even higher direction, but a higher level that includes the majority in that community, which is the African American community. And for those who would make ridiculous comments about, well, we don't need another Dalton. No, we don't need another Dalton. You have a mayor in Dalton that does not have the confidence of the voter. They decided to operate in a way that obviously is not popular with the people of Dalton or the people of Thornton Township. So they've lost confidence with her. And frankly, I think it's unfortunate because it was a terribly missed opportunity that this young Black woman could have been a great example and role model to other young Black women who may be aspiring to get involved in the political process. Very unfortunate. However, there are no comparisons between the mayor of Dalton and Joni Bradley Scott. Joni Bradley Scott is a tremendously gifted and intelligent, capable mother, wife, and committed citizen who serves on the board of trustees and would be a great mayor for the village of Flossmoor. That everyone's voice will be heard and respected, and decisions would not be made in a vacuum without there being input from the residents, being that the residents are the taxpayers there and the greatest taxpayers in Flossmoor. So I'm asking everyone who can and will to join us, become a part of 10 by 10 to win. Let's expand and continue to build this independent voting block, and then join us in supporting Joni Bradley Scott for mayor of Flossmoor. I'm wearing one of their fleece jackets right now. That we want to support them. We want to support them, and we want to make sure that she is successful on April the 1st. We're going to be out doing canvassing again next Saturday. We'll provide you with more information at this Thursday's meeting, this Thursday's 10 by 10 to win meeting. There are other members who are running for school board. We're going to be introducing them. In fact, we're going to have Ashley Giddings, who is running for school board. And so we're going to have her. She's going to be on the meeting come this Thursday night, and we'll be introducing her, and she'll get an opportunity to speak with you, and you'll get a chance to hear from her. Another very capable, very committed mother, wife, and citizen in the village of Flossmoor. So there may be people who are saying, well, wait a minute, we don't live in Flossmoor. We live in Chicago. Look, as African-American people, as Black people, we have got to abandon that ideology. We've got to abandon that ideology. We have to be interconnected. Our numbers require that we be interconnected. Now, where we are in the region of the Chicagoland area, we have a vast number of people by which we can pull together, or certainly we can pull together, that does not exist in a lot of other places in the country. We're in a very rich region, but we are regressing in terms of the things that we need in terms of economic development, and in terms of housing, mental health, job opportunity, as well as business opportunity. And there are going to be tremendous resources coming through our state over the next 4 years that had nothing to do with the current guy that's coming in. When I say that we have resources coming, it has everything to do with President Biden and Kamala Harris, the policies that they have passed, the Infrastructure Act, the Chips and Science Act, the American Rescue Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, the Social Security Protection Act. All of these policies that have been passed by the Biden-Harris administration are still going to be rolling out during the 47 administration, that he will have nothing to do with. All of the positive results that are happening and will be happening as a result of the work that was done by the Biden-Harris administration. And I am going to be here every day or every opportunity to give you the facts about what the truth is, as juxtaposed as to the convicted felon found liable of sexual assault that is going to be serving in the White House, and 49%, the plurality of the voters supported that. However, we have to get focused. We have to be focused. We have to get focused on what is coming. And then we have to be ready to pursue that. So I just wanted to come on to let you know what was going on and what is going on in Flossmoor. It is an apartheid type government. You have 63% of the community there is Black and 27% of the community is white, but you have a 100% white controlled administration, from the mayor to the village board manager to the assistant village board manager, until all of those decision-making people. And you, like I said, you have 3 Black trustees, but they have no power because the 3 white trustees always are voting with the mayor. So that's really more window dressing. And we have to change that to give them the power. We have to strengthen their positions in these platforms so that they have the power. Not the power to do and subjugate people from the white community to substandard service, but to exemplify to the people of the white community that Black people have the ability to govern when given the opportunity to do it, despite some who have betrayed the trust of the public and who have used the office for their own personal gain. And they will eventually be held accountable for that. But that's what I'm hoping that we will do. So I'm going to ask you if you would please share this live, and I'm going to be coming back from time to time, recruiting and advocating for people to really allow for the light to come on, to say, yes, that's what we have to do. We have to model what the United Auto Workers did. There are only 400,000 active members in the United States of America and Canada. 400,000 active members and 580,000 retired. We have 660,000 registered voters in Chicago. But yet 400,000 members compelled a sitting president to stand on the picket line. That's power. And the reason they were able to do it because they have numbers. And those numbers are very important to the success of a campaign. So we don't have a big check, but what we do have are a lot of votes. So let's get organized. Let's strengthen ourselves so that on April the 1st, 2025, we can help Joni Bradley Scott and her campaign and the other trustees become successful in Flossmoor, so that the Black community in Flossmoor has a voice. So that's where we are. So, like I said, I'm going to be coming back doing some different lives and bringing you up to date with information and facts that you will be able to stand on and get a much clearer picture of why it is that we have to do what it is that we are doing. It's vitally important to the salvation and the strengthening of our communities. We have to abandon the ideology of how we've operated as individuals and on these silos. We've got to interconnect ourselves together to strengthen the movement, whatever it may be, whatever the issue that you may be working on or leading us on, that we will have enough numbers to be able to compel legislatures to do what it is that we would like to have done. All right, that's going to do it for me right now. I'm saying to you all, make sure that you get active and that you get involved. Join us. Text 10x10 to the number 855-909-1385 so that you can become part of the text alert and that you can then receive the Zoom link meetings for this Thursday. I'll look for you. And if you are joining us for the first time, we want for you to introduce yourselves, let us know where you live and who invited you to become a part of 10 by 10 to win. And by you becoming a part of 10 by 10 to win, you further add strength to institutionalizing our union of Black voters. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great night. And I'll probably see you tomorrow. If not tomorrow, see you for the Monday night edition of the People Show.